In today's episode, we built our strongest team so far and put it to the ultimate test, the third tower boss. Previously, on episode 2, we built a base. Things got dangerous. Find huge eggs, start breeding, and face the second tower boss. Hello guys, and welcome back to episode 3 of our Hardcore Eggs Only Challenge. Thank you so much for all the support on the previous episode. Today, we're building our strongest team yet and preparing for our biggest challenge so far, the third tower boss. Our first target was Alpha King Paka. At this point, Shield was still our strongest pal, so it was the obvious choice for the fight. Let's see if it was enough. That was actually much easier than I expected. Our next target was Alpha Catres, and once again Chili was leading the fight. But this fight was a little more interesting than the last one. And just like that, another alpha boss was defeated. Our team was getting stronger and stronger. While exploring, we ran into a Mimo. Defeating it rewarded us with dog coins, which could be useful later on. Not long after that, we spotted a meteorite crash. But getting the loot wasn't going to be easy. 3 Xenoguards were guarding it. After defeating all 3, the meteorite was finally ours. Next up was our first bounty target, Siren. I don't think Siren even had time to realize what happened. This might have been the easiest fight of the entire episode. Our next target was Alpha Fenglobe. We started the fight with Rayhound. But it quickly became clear that Fenglobe was much stronger than we expected. So, we decided to switch things up. This time, we brought out Wixen, hoping the burn damage would slowly wear it down, and honestly, that ended up being the difference maker. After a tough fight, we finally managed to take Fenglobe down. Next up was Alpha Bushi. With Yormantide on our side, this fight was never going to be easy for Bushi. The water type advantage made a huge difference. And just like that, another victory. Our next target was Alpha Bronzeri Aqua, and this time the choice was easy. Since Bronzeri Aqua is a water type pal, we decided to bring Rayhound into the fight. The electric type advantage gave us exactly what we needed. And compared to some of the previous battles, this fight felt much more manageable. Another alpha boss defeated. Back at the base, we needed an Electric Terra for one of our missions. Since we couldn't catch one, breeding was our only option, and thankfully it worked perfectly. We first needed a Relaxorus, because it was the final piece for our next breeding combination. With Relaxorus finally ready, it was time. By breeding Relaxorus and Grisbolt, we could finally get one of my favorite pals in the entire game, Orserk, and honestly, this was a huge upgrade for our team. Next, we bred a Braloha, one of the best pal in the game. It helps with planting, gathering, and even boost egg production through its passive skill. A massive addition to our base. Next up was Alpha Bronzeri, and once again, Wixen was the perfect choice for the job, thanks to the fire type advantage. This fight went much smoother than expected. Another Alpha boss defeated. Our next target was Alpha Petalia, and once again, Wixen gave us a huge advantage. With fire-type attacks against a grass-type pal, this fight was always going to favor us. Petalia still put up a fight, but in the end, Wixen got the job done. Our next buddy target was Lasso. By now, Chillet had become one of the cornerstones of our team, and once again, it didn't disappoint. Our next target was Alpha Elizabeth, and unlike most of our fights so far, this was far from easy. We decided to use Wixen once again, but Elizabeth proved to be much stronger than we expected. This was easily one of the toughest battles in the entire episode. But after a long fight, we finally managed to bring Elizabeth down. Our next bounty target was Ego, and Rayhound leading the charge. This fight didn't last very long. Another bounty down. Next target was Alpha Beacon, and this fight required a slightly different strategy. Since Beacon is an electric type pal, we relied on Rayhound's ground type attacks to gain the advantage. The battle took longer than we expected. And after a hard-fought battle, Alpha Beacon was finally defeated. And then we found our first lucky pal of the episode. A lucky depress. Not exactly game-changing, but I'll never say no to a lucky pal. Our next target was Alpha Relaxorus Lux. Just like with Beacon, we decided to rely on Rayhound's ground type attacks, since Relaxorus Lux is an electric type pal. The type matchup gave us a huge advantage. But after a long battle, we finally came out on top. Our next target was Alpha Univolt. We started the fight with Rayhound. But things didn't go quite as planned. So we switched over to Wixen, hoping it would finish the job, and thankfully, that decision paid off. Another Alpha boss defeated. After collecting enough dog coins, we finally found a metal merchant. So, without wasting any time, we spent 100 dog coins to unlock our third accessory slot. a permanent upgrade that will make us even stronger moving forward. Back at the base, we wanted a Yormatite Ignis. It's one of the best pals for kiting and cake production. We hatched 3 eggs and got pretty lucky. The very first one came with Artesian. That's exactly what we wanted. Before heading out again, we upgraded our gear, a new compound bow, and some reinforced arrows. Hopefully that extra damage will make the next fights a little easier. Next up was Alpha Ephedran. So we sent out Chillet. At this point, it had become one of the most important members of our team. And once again, it didn't disappoint. Our next target was Alpha Orserk. So, we brought out Wixen. With the fire type advantage, this fight felt much more manageable. And thankfully, it didn't take long to get the win. Back at the base, it was finally time to get a Ragnarok. By breeding Grisbolt and Anubis, we were able to add one of the best flying mounts to our team. And from this point on, traveling around the map was going to be much easier. After accepting a mission from Righteous Hunter, we tracked down the Silicon Cleaner. Since the target was weak to water, Yormantide was the obvious choice. This fight went pretty smoothly. Getting out, however, was completely different story. Thankfully, Rayhound was fast enough to save us. With our new Ragnarok ready, we headed toward to our next major goal, the third tower boss. We weren't ready to fight it just yet, but unlocking the fast travel point will make things much easier later on. Next up was Brick, and this was our first chance to use Orserk in battle. After all the breeding and preparation, it was finally time to put him to the test. Thankfully, he lived up to the hype. If you made it this far into the episode, you're probably enjoying the channel. So, if you haven't already, consider leaving a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow. While exploring, we ran into a level 45 Predator Dictoys. And let's just say, we decided that was a problem for our future us. Next, we traveled to the location of our future third base. This base will have one very important purpose, oil production, with 3 oil nodes in the area. It was the perfect spot for our next expansion. While exploring, we spotted our first legendary pal of the challenge, Jet Dragon, and for now, just looking at it from a distance felt like a smart choice. Next up was Alpha Verdash, and this was our first time using Ragnarok in a real fight. We wanted to see how strong it actually was. And honestly, it did a great job. Our next target was Alpha Mossanda Lux. And once again, we trusted Chile to get the job done. By this point in the challenge, it had become one of the most reliable members of our team, and thankfully, it delivered another victory. Next up was Alpha Wumpo Botan. So, once again, we put our new Ragnarok to the test. And honestly, it made the fight look pretty easy. Our next target was the bounty duo Dinah and Might. But with Orserk on our side, they never really stood a chance. We also started preparing one of their future breeding projects. The goal was simple: pass the rainbow passive down to Abusi, so we could use it even more breeding combination later on. Next up was the bounty target Grill, and with Orserk leading the charge, this fight didn't take very long. Another bounty completed. We also cleared a few more alpha bosses along the way, including Quiver, Nightwing, and Damage. By this point, our team was stronger than ever, and we were finally getting close to the third tower boss. With the third tower boss getting closer, we decided to breed a stronger Anubis. And thankfully, the results were better than we expected. Out of the three Anubis, we got both Vanguard and Rainbow passives. A huge step forward for our team. After getting the Anubis we wanted, it was time for one final upgrade. Using the PAL operation table, we added the Brave passive, making our future tower boss fighter even stronger. Our next target was Alpha Lunaris. By this point, Orserk had become one of the strongest members of our team. And once again, it got the job done. At this point, there weren't many alpha bosses left that could slow us down. Felbat was one of them. But with Orserk on our side, the fight was over before it really began. One final upgrade. Ferocious. Our Anubis was finally completed. Now it was time for the third tower boss. Our Anubis was ready. Now it was time to upgrade our own gear, because if we wanted to defeat the third tower boss, we needed every advantage we could get. Before taking on the third tower boss, we wanted one final test. Alpha Mamorest, the strongest alpha boss we had faced so far, and the perfect opportunity to see how our new gear performed. Before taking on the tower boss, we finished one last breeding project. Our goal was simple: pass Rainbow passive down to Aphaleris, and thankfully we ended up with two of them. With our new armor crafted, we were finally ready to move on. The third tower boss was waiting for us. We spent this entire episode preparing for this moment, breeding stronger pals, upgrading our equipment, and doing everything we could to improve our chances. But now, there were no more excuses. It was finally time to face the third tower boss. Let's go! It's time for a change. Let's go, Chillet. Let's go, Chillet. Go, go. Anubis has gained some health. Let's go. Yes, yes. Well done, Anubis. Well done. And that's going to be it for this episode. We managed to defeat the third tower boss and take another big step forward in the challenge. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.